Other living beings have a value of their own in God's eyes. By their mere existence, they bless Him and give Him glory. The Lord rejoices in all His works. In our time, the Church does not simply state that other creatures are completely subordinated to the good of human beings, as if they have no worth in themselves and can be treated as we wish. The Catechism clearly and forcefully criticizes a distorted anthropocentrism. Each creature possesses its own particular goodness and perfection. Each of the various creatures wills in its own being, reflects in its own way, and ray of God's infinite wisdom and goodness. Man must therefore respect the particular goodness of every creature to avoid any disordered use of things.
Laudato Si, paragraph number 71. The biblical tradition clearly shows that this renewal entails recovering and respecting the rhythms inscribed nature by the hand of the Creator. We see this, for example, in the law of the Sabbath. On the seventh day, God rested from all His work. He commanded Israel to set aside each seventh day as a day of rest, a Sabbath. Similarly, every 7 years, a sabbatical year was set aside for Israel, a complete rest for the land. When sowing was forbidden and one reaped only what was necessary to live on and to feed one's household. Finally, after 7 weeks of years, which is to say 49 years, the Jubilee was celebrated as a year of general forgiveness and liberty throughout the land for all its inhabitants.
That is the non-living parts of the world, land, soil. That is amazing. The Bible, Old Testament, almost 4,000 years ago, the Bible is telling, give rest to the land, Sabbath, once in 7 years, 1 year rest. 49 years, Jubilee year, 3 years rest to the soil. Look at that. How those 3 relationships are carefully maintained, balanced in the Old Testament times. God's relationship and human relationship and then creation. Not only living world, also non-living. The living, we heard ox, your donkey. They should have rest. And your maid, your cook, your driver, everyone should have rest. See, all the 3 are coming in balanced view of humanity. Continue, sister.
This law came about as an attempt to ensure balance and fairness in their relationship with others and with the land on which they lived and worked. At the same time, it was an acknowledgement that the gift of the earth with its fruits belongs to everyone. Those who tilled and kept the land were obliged to share its fruits, especially with the poor, with widows, orphans, and foreigners in their midst. When you reap the harvest of your land, you shall not leave your field to its very border, neither shall you gather the gleanings after the harvest. And you shall not strip your vineyard bare, neither shall you gather the fallen grapes of your vineyard. You shall have them for the poor and for the sojourner.
I can't explain more than that. All the 3 relationships are asked to be kept in working biblical writers written, but Pope is quoting them. Okay, next.
Whether to say that the number paragraph Laudato Si, paragraph 100.
Laudato Si, paragraph number 105.
Laudato Si, paragraph 105. The fact is that contemporary man has not been trained to use power well, because our immense technological development has not been accompanied by a development in human responsibility, values and conscience. Each age tends to have only a meager awareness of its own limitations. It is possible that we do not grasp the gravity of the challenges now before us. But human beings are not completely autonomous. Our freedom fades when it is handed over to the blind forces of the unconscious, of immediate needs, of self-interest, and of violence. We cannot claim to have a sound ethics, a culture and spirituality genuinely capable of setting limits and teaching clear-minded self-restraint.
This paragraph is directly linked with our class, environmental ethics. Again and again, Pope is talking about the ethics. We cannot claim to have a sound ethics. So, in the absence of ethics, everything can happen. In the absence of aram, the righteousness, things can go wrong anywhere. You will not relate with God, you won't relate with Him, you will sever your relationship, snap up your relationship with the Creator. Everything becomes vulnerable. Everything in the state of anarchy, without sound ethics. The contemporary man has not been trained to use power well. We don't know how to use power well. Even now, I was taking class, I didn't use my power well. I did not get angry with the sister at all, if I thought. The Psalm 136 came to my mind, His love endures forever. When sister behaved like that, disturbing, I should learn to say, His love endures forever. That's it. That is the small clue for the people to learn, okay, Father has gone out. I should have said that. His love endures forever. So that person would have understood immediately, oh my God, so now the psalm comes to help me now. So His love endures forever. I prayed, I went to the room, I prayed Psalm 136. Then I came out to take class. So now I am a different person altogether. I was angry when I went. So when I went and prayed at 136, then the Lord told me, why did you do that? She made a mistake and you also made a mistake of losing your own cool and losing your own mind. Why did you do that? Then I told His love endures forever. Whether good or bad, you learn to say, so endures forever. Then you come out to, again to balance. You won't get angry at all. You will come out of anger immediately. Finished, everything is over. It is like before. The chapter is closed. Now the chapters we are continuing. Otherwise I can't teach now. The economy benefits only few people. Technology also benefits only few people. Understand that? So that is what Pope is telling. There is no aram. If there is aram, if there was ethics, all the wealth will be distributed equally. There is no rich and poor. Equal. Also there is no hierarchy to be equal. There is ethics. So there is no ethics. So our hierarchy is the reflection of the erosion of ethics. Actually, everybody feels I am more worthy than you. I am more human than you. Caste system, all these things from the past. No ethics. Understand that? Very important paragraph. Directly linked to our class. So in the exam, the oral test, if I have, I'll ask the question. Can you quote one Laudato Si paragraph which is linked to our discussion for the past 1 week? Then we are going to talk about it in the answer. Possibly I'll ask the question in the oral test. I'll have an oral test. 2 minutes, 3 minutes each. You come and you talk to me. And I give marks. Alright, did we finish reading it? Okay. Next.
Laudato Si, paragraph number 110. A science which would offer solution to a greater issue would necessarily have to take into account the data generated by other fields of knowledge, including philosophy and social ethics. But this is a difficult habit to acquire today. Nor are there are genuine ethical horizon to which one can appeal. Life gradually becomes a surrender to situation conditioned by technology itself, viewed as the principal key to the meaning of existence.
Can any one of you point out the same ethos, the same sentiment from the previous paragraph? Pope is writing this also. Can you point out 2 words here?
Ethics.
What is that? Say social ethics. See the first paragraph? Yeah, social ethics. And then another word? Genuine ethical horizons to which we can appeal. He's telling there are no ethical horizons where we can compare the action, whether it is good or bad. We didn't have ethics. So Pope Francis is lamenting there is no ethics. So we need to establish the social ethics, bioethics. Ethics is a discipline in philosophy we study as seminarians. I studied in St. Paul's, Trichy, between 1976 to 79. Trichy, I was a student there. In your common, do they teach ethics? No ethics?
Sure, that is.
Yeah, it's a must. At least environmental ethics you are learning now. But other sisters, I don't know, those who come here, you learn. But you should talk to your professors and other generals to teach ethics first to the sisters, because there is no ethics. You are going to be using your own power. So bad, so bad. Okay, next. This paragraph, old cultural revolution. See the word? Why does he use the word, such a forceful word? Why? Because 2 revolutions have destroyed this earth. What are the 2 revolutions? What? 2 revolutions have destroyed planet Earth. You never heard of a revolution? Industrial Revolution, 1850, that is the thing which destroyed planet Earth, burning fossil fuel, production, distribution, markets, consumption. That was the bad thing happened in the history of humanity. Industrial Revolution, it started in England 150 years ago. is the thing's main cause of destruction today. Ecological crisis is the outcome of industrial revolution. You know, another revolution happened very bad. Green Revolution, which happened in the 1960s. You know, Mr. Swaminathan, the famous Green Revolution scientist, one who increased our food production by putting chemicals into the land, the fertilizers, the pesticide, the fungicide, all those poison was pumped up to the land. Before that, before 1960, we were doing organic agriculture, natural agriculture. Till that period, agriculture was used for sustenance, for eating, surviving. But after the Green Revolution, agriculture was used for profit making, money making. So then we didn't see soil, water, air as a community. We saw as a commodity. In the sustenance mindset, everything is relationship, community. But in profit-making mindset, everything is commodity. You can press the soil and you can lease the land. You can sell, you can partition it, you can cut it with tractor, you can remove it with the JCB or the bulldozer, you can turn it around, put the poison, and you can prostitute it. That is the word. Our farmers are prostituting our land for gain. Sad. You know, agriculture is the largest, second largest sector which causes global warming, climate change. The first is energy, or not energy, transportation. Energy and transportation first. Second is agriculture. Who thought agriculture is a good work? It was supposed to be good work. But from 1960, after the Green Revolution, our farmers have become more impatient for money. So farmers are not saints. They are also destroying our planet. Yeah. Burning, slashing, poisoning, wasting. It's not a holy farmers anymore. It's all problem creators. Yeah. I feel pity because I am a farmer. How many of you farmer? All of us are farmers, mostly. So our fathers and our great-grandfathers were good, but grandfathers also good. But our father is no good. Sad. Our father and mother are addicted to money, that's all. Kill the land. You know the goose with the golden eggs? The goose lays one egg. So the farmer thought, hey, why every day only one egg? Let me take all the eggs and kill the goose. That is the way our farmers are. So don't think our farmers are good. But I thought they were good. But when you examine and see, farmers are really causing a lot of damage to the ecosystems. So anyway, these two revolutions caused heavily ecological crisis. All the problems we are facing today is the outcome of these two revolutions. Industrial Revolution, Green Revolution. So that is what Pope is having in his mind when he is writing. Come, let us start a bold cultural revolution In other words, against the industrial revolution, green revolution, and we will come out of that really. Let us go back to traditional farming. Let us go back to less consumption, less economic growth. The high economic growth is no good. The medium or low economic growth is sustainable way of living. All right. So, sister, you read.
Laudato Si, paragraph 114. All of this shows the urgent need for us to move forward in a bold cultural revolution. Science and technology are not neutral. From the beginning to the end of a process, various intentions and possibilities are in play and can take on distinct shapes. Nobody is suggesting a return to the Stone Age, but we do need to slow down and look at reality in a different way to appropriate the positive and sustainable progress which has been made, but also to recover the values and the great goals swept away by our unrestrained delusions of grandeur.
Here also Pope Francis talks about the same thing what I talked in the previous two paragraphs. Can you point out what are those words here in this paragraph? Which talk about ethics. Goals, values, see that last. Values, goals, great goals, everything is swept away, our delusions of grandeur. We want to become rich, that is the delusion of man. So we have described ethics, step from it. In other words, in our zeal to build and possess, in our zeal to build and possess, we may lose all of them. In our zeal to build and possess, we may lose all of them. You understand the quote? Yeah. Everything will be lost in our zeal to build and possess. We may lose everything. Yes.
When the culture itself is corrupt and objective, truth and universally valid principles are no longer upheld, then laws can only be seen as arbitrary impositions or obstacles to be avoided.
Very good, very good. Can you point out here also the environmentally ethical principles? Can you say? Objective truth. See there. That is ethics. Universally valid principles. See? That's it. Those two are the main thing. Ethics. So for the past 3-4 paragraphs we have been talking only environmental ethics. Pope is talking about it. So I think the learning and establishing and formulating the basic environmental ethical principles is paramount. Very, very important for the future survival of our species. Okay. 130. We are in the chapter 3, the human roots of our ecological crisis. Yesterday I said it, remember that. So in that, this new biological technologies topic is being introduced by Pope Francis in the Laudato Si. If you want to do doctorate later on, you can choose paragraphs from here. So this is the genetically modified food we are talking about. GM technology. You understand what is GM technology? Genetic manipulation. So Pope is writing almost 6 or 7 paragraphs, which is a good place where you can start your PhD, doctoral thesis if you want to study there. Okay? I think from 130 to 137, I think, 7 paragraphs are dedicated for GM technology. So Pope is discussing about it. Let us listen what he says.